What's up, everybody? Welcome aboard. It is Trading Live with Bubba, and there's not much going on today. Kind of quiet. Let me just share this with you. I don't know. You got the jobs tomorrow. You had the ADP jobs today, which was a ugly miss, but we're not getting any real volume yet. But of course, we're not totally as shocked as we said earlier in the week, even though we had a monster day on Tuesday when we were together. We warned you that just because it's September doesn't mean everybody's coming back to work. I would expect it to get busier and busier as we go. At the end of the day, you've seen some relatively reasonable movement, and we'll see. Maybe we'll get something here as we're watching. They're hammering them pretty good at the moment. So let's see what it looks like. And that's certainly something to take a peek at. Again, whatever the reason was, suddenly they decided to sell them off here. You got a potential coming in the S&P, a potential coming in the NASDAQ. But it is kind of quiet, so it wouldn't be something that I would get overly excited about, the trade here. But again, obviously, if something shows up, we're going to make the trade because that's what we do. Let's see here. So it's going to be close. We still got a couple of minutes to wait, and we'll watch it. But you don't have much action in the Dow. You don't have much action in the Russell. Dow, Russell, NASDAQ, S&P. We need the volume to get up to about here in the NASDAQ. And we need the volume to get up to about here in the S&P, which they should get there, I would think. They should go through those lines. And then we will have a potential trading opportunity. And crude is, if crude gets up into here, we could have a potential. Oops, I don't want. God dang it! How did I do that? Let's see here. Yeah, I just do this. Get back to where I was. Okay. The crude get up to about here. We would look at it. So we're getting closer to potential. And again, the real question here will be, what is the blowback or what's the risk going to be? But certainly the S&P is going through there for sure. NASDAQ may make it, and the crude may make it, but crude's already coming back a little bit. So we can take a look at the S&P now. We can jump to a minute early here. Let's see where the stop's going to be. Here's the key. The stop's going to be at 55.05. It's way too much risk for us to want to take on at this point. Again, with the lack of activity in the markets, I'm not willing to take that much risk. And the NASDAQ stop would have to be 188.87. Again, the risks are too high for me to want to play. Certainly, we could look at the crude oil, which would be a better trade with a little bit less risk, and the risk here would be 69.64. So I'd be willing to look at that. If we can get a trade off here, we need a green bar. I would say about 70.34 or higher would be what we'd be looking for to make that trade. Okay, 70.34 or higher at this moment. But again, we'll see. Again, I'm not going to force the trade just because we want to trade. That's the wrong thing to do. Okay, these trades would have been okay, but again, I'm not taking the risk. You have to weigh the risk based on the market conditions. And certainly now it looks like we might get crude. Got to wait for the bar to close. Okay, crude is a go ahead and trade. You want to trade it? Okay, and the stop, what did I say the stop was? I already forgot. 69 something. The stop is 69.64. 69.64. And we'll put our orders in above to take some off. Okay, so that trade is working. And again, we don't have to sit here and watch it. We've got our stopping, we've got ours working, and we'll hear the machine ding when it's time. Okay, so let's see what's going on here. In the meantime, as we look at our stocks we watch every week, Apple still just hovering around nowheresville, right? We had the one opportunity to sell it last week. It did not complete, so there's nothing for us to do. Amazon is getting over to that maybe overbought position again. We got up to 180. I'd look to sell some call spreads in there. It's too bad we didn't take those in index trades. But anyways, and in coin, very oversold. Certainly a real opportunity and also making a potential double bottom here. Now, this is a very tricky double bottom because double bottoms work in a market that is trending higher, and coin is going more than sideways, so it isn't a true double bottom. But with the oversold conditions and a known or proven support level right around here, I would certainly look at that. In fact, I'm going to go ahead and look at it right now while we're here together. Hold on. Okay, coin. I have to do it on a different screen, but I will tell you exactly what I'm going to do. And coin, and I'm going to do it for tomorrow. I'm going to take a little bit of a chance and sell a put spread for tomorrow. I'm going to sell the 162.50, 160 for about $1 credit. Okay. And that order is now working. I'll let you know if it fills. Okay. Again, it's a little bit close, but I'm not afraid of it. Okay. I think it'll be okay. And I did get filled at $1. Okay. So that is what, and again, that's what I'm looking for. And remember, I don't need it to go up. I just need it not to go down. Okay. I've got about $1 or so, about 40 cents now of leeway. But I'm willing to take that risk based on the conditions where it's at. Crowd came off. Remember, we talked about on Tuesday potentially selling call spreads. I'm not saying you should have. Remember, I don't ever tell you what you should have done. I give you some ideas of what we can do and what we can look at. And our crude trade is not doing very well at the moment. But again, we're still in and we've got a pretty good stop. So we'll worry about that later. Meta, again, it is at a little bit of that oversold position, but it's kind of quirky because you can see that the mean has risen, as has the oversold condition. So I think this is a pass. Google, certainly one to look at, selling some put spreads, and you can sell those for tomorrow or for next week. I would sell the 155. If I'm doing it for next week, I'd sell the 155, 152.50. If I do it for tomorrow, I'd sell the 157.50, 155. Okay, because remember, the less overnights I have to deal with, the better off I'm going to be. Okay, so that's what creates the volatility. IWM, right in the middle of nowhere, nothing for us to do. Moderna, still very oversold. Again, it continues to break. So I'd like to see it hold somewhere here, but I do think that probably there's an opportunity here. In fact, I'm going to look at something for next week. Hold on. Moderna, Michael Romeo, November Alpha. Let's see, for the 13th. And we're at 71. So if we would sell the 70, 69. I'm going to sell the 70.69 for 40 cents. I like to get 40% of the credit. We got a little bit of room. Again, there's risk. There's always risk. That's the business. Okay. And let's just take a look at our crude trade, which doesn't look very good. But the question is, will we get a potential add-on to this trade? And no, you're not getting anything else to do here. So again, we'll go back and see what else is going on in our other stuff. Microsoft in the middle of nowhere. Nugget in the middle of nowhere. NVIDIA should be oversold, almost. Again, down in here somewhere, 105-ish would be a level I'd look for. And again, remember, these are very short-term trades. We're not trying to figure out where it's going 6 months from now. What we're looking for is either a day or 7 days from now. Okay. And we just need it to hold here, which it probably should. The Qs, right in the middle, nothing to do. Square, right in the middle, nothing to do. SPY, right in the middle, nothing to do. Tesla's probably one to sell, and there you go. So Tesla, I would look at selling some call spreads here. It's had a hell of a move. It's come up from, let's say 200. So, it's got about a 15% move in a week or so. Certainly, I would look at that. And let's take a look while I'm here. Tesla. Oops. Tesla. So I'm going to sell some call spreads for tomorrow. Okay. I'm going to sell some call spreads for tomorrow. And I'm going to sell the 230, 230, 250 for $1.10. Okay. All right. That's working there now. And win, nothing. Kind of just hovering. XBI, nothing. Zoom, as we said the other day, it was a good sale, and it is. And it's still headed lower. So now you can see, as we've gone through our normal routine of looking at some of these things, and where are we? Well, our crude is coming back and is actually now profitable. Like, we're not out yet, so we don't have a profit because we are not out, but it is profitable at the moment. Okay. And now it's back to a small loser. Now, in this particular case, in this trade, the next time he gets back above where I entered, I'm putting my stop in underneath if it gets back there, and I'll let it run if it runs. But if it takes me out, it takes me out. But I've now, in my eyes, have been in this trade long enough, and I'm not interested in holding on to it anymore. There's times when you continue to think, okay, about what you are. And again, this trade is no longer the reason I got in. Okay, is not as much in play anymore. It should have bounced faster. Things should create the V much faster. Okay. That's when you know that you're trading on true panic, on somebody else's panic. Okay. That's what we're kind of looking at. And again, it's not really doing anything. It's kind of settled here. Now, it could be settling and making a bottom. I can certainly justify a bottom is in. But what I don't want to justify, and I don't want to keep in mind, is I don't want to have the risk anymore. If I can get a chance to get my stop underneath with a locking in, and it's not necessarily locking in a profit, you're locking in a position that will cover your costs, cover your commissions, and then you have a chance for it to continue to run in your favor. Okay. That is what I'm looking to do. Okay. Now, and I am now at that position. So now I have a break-even stop on my crude trade. And if it goes up, great. And if it doesn't go up, well, I'll be out. And I'll have enough money to cover my costs and maybe enough to get a cup of coffee. Okay. But I don't care now. Again, the trade, there's not enough action here. The market has changed the amount of speed and information that we're seeing. So again, why should I be so much in a hurry? Okay. And as we look back and we can see, I don't know, is there a potential coming in the X-rays again? I am out of crude with, again, I can maybe afford a cup of coffee if I go to a discount place. Okay. I can't go to Starbucks, but which I don't like anyway, so it's okay. In the meantime, again, we're watching. Maybe we get some trades, here. It's certainly a potential. But you can see that we're suddenly turning over quickly once again. And at the end of the day, it looks like the markets want to go lower, but I wouldn't get too crazy today because you have jobs tomorrow. Okay. It's a big, whether you think it's a big number or not, it's a big number. And I don't know how the market's going to react. This whole rate cut situation, this whole deal of that, what's going on really doesn't make a lot of sense, because now if they cut rates, it's really a sign of bad news, not good news. Okay. Because now if they do cut them now, they're cutting them into to protect against the recession, but they're also cutting in because they want inflation to rise so they can get some more federal tax dollars. So at the end, that's where we are at the moment. And again, we'll see what happens. See if we create something here or not. Certainly there's potentially something in the Russell coming. As you can see, we're getting the biggest volume bar we've seen in about an hour and a half or so. Nothing in the S&P right now and nothing in the NASDAQ. So the only potential trade here would be in the Russell. So in the Russell stop would be 212.79 if we get a trade, and it looks like we might get one here. You gotta wait. Now you're gonna have to make a decision, you personally, because I can't make that for you. The risk is getting a little bit stiffer than I'd like it to be. Okay. But again, I'm not saying I'm going to take the trade. Okay. Unless it just explodes from here in the next 8 seconds. But again, you have to make those decisions. Okay. At the amount of risk that you're willing to take, because this is a little bit more risk. So this is a trade. Okay. And my stop is 212.79. I got some orders working in above. Take some off, but I also want to keep some on. Okay. And, it's kind of what we're watching right now. Okay. And maybe it'll pop for us, maybe it won't. We got out of our crude trade at a break even, basically. And the good thing that we did. And maybe now it'll become a buy at some point. Okay. So maybe we get another opportunity here. But in the meantime, we sit back and wait and look and, make sure that things qualify for what we want. If not, then we don't trade it. It's very, very simple. Remember, it's always better to wish you were in a trade than to wish you were not. Okay. So remember that when you're trading, okay, is that you don't have to make every trade. Sometimes it's better to sit back and let the markets trade for you and give you the best opportunity and the best clue to be able to trade. And again, right now, we got nothing going on. As we get closer to the end of our show today, you may want to consider, you're probably about break even on your Russell. You may want to, if you don't know how to manage it yourself without me, you may want to close it and just say it's over. I mean, you can get out for, break even, a small profit again. Or you can, if you know how to manage it, okay, and the way you manage it is you have once you get filled on your extras, okay, that you're trying to sell above the market, then once you get filled on one, you move your stop in full to break even, okay, so that you don't put yourself in exposure, okay. So that's, again, something that you can look at if you want. Again, that's up to you. I can't tell you what to do. I can only tell you that those are your choices if you understand how to handle it and how to trade it. Okay. But the one thing is, if you do get off, one out of however many you bought, then you move your stop in full to break even. And everybody have a great weekend. And just remember, jobs Friday tomorrow. So a lot of action could happen this afternoon, and we'll see you next Tuesday. But of course, I do the Market 120 every day. And don't forget about the Tradier Summit, which I believe is coming up shortly. So you'll see an ad for that. And everybody have a great day. We'll talk to you later.
Capitalize on stock market uncertainty this coming election. When most see disaster in the headlines, informed traders see dollar signs. Elite traders have embraced market fear for decades, and now you can too. Join us at our exclusive Fall Tradier Virtual Summit, sponsored by SIBO, on Wednesday, September 18th, 2024 at 10:30 a.m. Eastern Time. Claim your seat at summit.tradier.com before registration closes.
You know how the financial world goes. Here comes the buzzkill. Please make sure to take some time to read this boring disclaimer. We will owe you one.